Hi, so in this video I will be discussing the number 2 reason why everyone should practice meditation. And the number 2 in the top 5 reasons why everyone should practice meditation is that meditation puts one on the right path. It allows one to live one's life in a way which can be considered moral, which can be considered noble, which can be considered truly an honorable way of living. So we understand in the meditation tradition that there are many ways that we can live our lives. We can live our lives angry, we can live our lives greedy, we can live our lives in delusion or ignorance, we can live our lives as an ordinary human being, we can live our lives in a sort of a generous or a charitable way, doing good deeds, doing unto others as you wish they would do unto you. We can even live our lives in some kind of meditative trance where we transcend ordinary reality. All of these are individual and unique ways of living one's life and unique paths which one can take. The meditation practice, as we discuss it on this channel, is yet one other way which one can live one's life, and we consider it to be the way to live correctly or the way to live properly. And why this is so? Well, we compare it to other ways of living. The first 3 ways of living in anger, in hatred, ways of living in greed or addiction, and ways of living in delusion or ignorance. These are obviously ways which are unwholesome, ways which don't lead to happiness, don't lead to peace. And the practice of meditation is clearly a way which, as I've explained in other videos, allows one to move away from these paths, to move away from states of being which put one into a state of real suffering. We can say that a person who is angry all the time, it's like a person living in hell. Your life is hell. A person who is in greed and addiction all the time is just like a ghost, just like someone who is always looking for things, who is never satisfied. And living in delusion, we say it's like living as an animal. Living as an ordinary dog or a cat or a pig or a goat or a cow or any of the life forms out there which we might think are perhaps less advanced or less able to develop themselves. Living as an ordinary human being is one other way we can live our lives. It's a way which doesn't help the world very much, but perhaps we can say it doesn't hurt the world either. The practice of meditation is a way which is noble. It's not an ordinary way of living. Though we focus and we're always paying attention to the ordinary reality, it actually is a way which brings one out of ordinary everyday reality, allows one to rise above the simple, dreary and mundane existence, sort of going with the flow. When things are good, you feel good. When things are bad, you feel bad. It's a way of rising above all of this and coming to see it for what it is, and living in a state of real and true peace and happiness. So it's not this path either. It's a path which we consider to be better than simply living. It's also not simply the path of doing good deeds, because it's clear that people can do deeds with ulterior motives. People can do deeds out of delusion or simply do deeds because it hits them to do them at a certain time. They can do good deeds sometimes and then forget to do good deeds. But when one's mind is pure, when one lives one's life in the present moment, one is able to approach everything with a certain amount of wisdom and can see the need, what is the need in every situation, and is able to approach every situation finding the way to bring help and to bring benefit to other people, to do good deeds. So it's not exactly the way of being a good person, just doing good deeds, but in a sense it makes one's heart truly good. And as a result, everything one does then becomes good. And it's sort of, rather than intending to do good deeds, one just does them as a part of one's nature because one's mind is pure. When someone asks for something, there's no stinginess. If someone approaches you with anger or so on, there's no reaction. And so we live our lives as, you could say, as good people, simply because the mind is pure. It's also not the path of meditative trance or absorption. We're not looking for this heavy state of concentration where we forget about the world, because this, of course, is temporary. You can work very, very hard to take the mind away from reality, but in the end, it only lasts for as long as the power of the concentration. So if you work to X amount to bring your mind to a state of tranquility. Well, it only lasts the very same amount of time. It's very much dependent on how much work you put into it. The practice of meditation as we describe it here is not, because it involves understanding. And once you understand, you can't say that the understanding is going to run out. This is understanding something you can use in every situation. When you understand something, you won't eventually forget that it's, such and such is the nature of it. You come to understand the nature of all of the things around you and inside of you. And so you react to things with wisdom and with peace and with happiness at all times. So your mind never falls into suffering. This is considered to be the right way. And it's important to understand that here we don't mean it means everyone has to become a monk or everyone has to become this or that religious tradition or move here or move there. You can do whatever it is that you're doing right now, as long as it's a moral, wholesome thing to do and it's not creating states of suffering for yourself or others, and still be on the right path. We can all be living completely different lives and still all be on the right path, because our minds are pure. Whatever we do it with a pure mind, and this is considered to be the right path. This is the number 2 reason why everyone should practice meditation. So thanks for tuning in, and please look forward to number 1 in the future.